I don't suppose so, said Serpuhovskoy, smiling again. I won't say life wouldn't be worth living without it, but it would be dull. Of course I may be mistaken, but I fancy I have a certain capacity for the line I've chosen, and that power of any sort in my hands, if it is to be, will be better than in the hands of a good many people I know, said Serpuhovskoy, with beaming consciousness of success, and so the nearer I get to it, the better pleased I am. Perhaps that is true for you, but not for everyone. I used to think so too, but here I live and think life worth living not only for that. There it's out. Here it comes, said Serpuhovskoy, laughing. Ever since I heard about you, about your refusal, I began. Of course, I approved of what you did. But there are ways of doing everything. And I think your action was good in itself, but you didn't do it quite in the way you ought to have done. What's done can't be undone, and you know I never go back on what I've done. And besides, I'm very well off. Very well off for the time. But you're not satisfied with that? I wouldn't say this to your brother. He's a nice child, like our host here. There he goes, he added, listening to the roar of hurrah, and he's happy, but that does not satisfy you. I didn't say it did satisfy me. Yes, but that's not the only thing. Such men as you are wanted. By whom? By whom? By society, by Russia. Russia needs men, she needs a party, or else everything goes and will go to the dogs. How do you mean? Burtonov's party against the Russian communists? No, said Serpuhovskoy, frowning with vexation at being suspected of such an absurdity. Tautsa et une blague underscore. That's always been and always will be. There are no communists. But intriguing people have to invent a noxious, dangerous party. It's an old trick. No, what's wanted is a powerful party of independent men like you and me. But why so? Vronsky mentioned a few men who were in power. Why aren't they independent men? Simply because they have not, or have not had from birth, an independent fortune, they've not had a name, they've not been close to the sun and center as we have. They can be bought either by money or by favor. And they have to find a support for themselves in inventing a policy. And they bring forward some notion, some policy that they don't believe in, that does harm, and the whole policy is really only a means to a government house and so much income. Underscore Selene pa plus fin casa underscore, when you get a peep at their cards. I may be inferior to them, stupider perhaps, though I don't see why I should be inferior to them. But you and I have one important advantage over them for certain, in being more difficult to buy. And such men are more needed than ever. Vronsky listened attentively, but he was not so much interested by the meaning of the words as by the attitude of Serpuhovskoy, who was already contemplating a struggle with the existing powers, and already had his likes and dislikes in that higher world, while his own interest in the governing world did not go beyond the interests of his regiment. Vronsky felt, too, how powerful Serpuhovskoy might become through his unmistakable faculty for thinking things out and for taking things in, through his intelligence and gift of words, so rarely met with in the world in which he moved. And, ashamed as he was of the feeling, he felt envious. Still, I haven't the one thing of most importance for that, he answered. I haven't the desire for power. I had it once, but it's gone. Excuse me, that's not true, said Serpuhovskoy, smiling. Yes, it is true now. Vronsky added, to be truthful. Yes, it's true now, that's another thing, but that now won't last forever. Perhaps, answered Vronsky. You say perhaps Serpuhovskoy went on, as though guessing his thoughts, but I say for certain And that's what I wanted to see you for. Your action was just what it should have been. I see that. But you ought not to keep it up. I only ask you to give me carte blanche. I'm not going to offer you my protection though, indeed, why shouldn't I protect you? You've protected me often enough. I should hope our friendship rises above all that sort of thing. Yes, he said, smiling to him as tenderly as a woman, give me carte blanche retire from the regiment, and I'll draw you upwards imperceptibly. But you must understand that I want nothing, said Vronsky, except that all should be as it is. Serpuhovskoy got up and stood facing him. You say that all should be as it is. I understand what that means. But listen, we're the same age, you've known a greater number of women perhaps than I have. Serpuhovskoy's smile and gestures told Vronsky that he mustn't be afraid, that he would be tender and careful in touching the sore place. But I'm married, and believe me, in getting to know thoroughly one's wife, if one loves her, as someone has said, one gets to know all women better than if one knew thousands of them. We're coming directly. Vronsky shouted to an officer, who looked into the room and called them to the colonel.